Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Wake and Take. It's your boy Jason, and we have some football to talk about today. Today, we're going to be breaking down the only story that matters, and that is the end of Bill Belichick's tenure in New England. Not discussing anything else. I feel it's disrespectful to discuss anything else, as this guy means not only a lot to me, but to New England, to the NFL. What a career. Can't believe it's over. So let's go ahead. Let's take out our coffee. Let's sit back. Let's relax and let's enjoy the show. All right. Welcome in, everyone, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We have a huge story to break down this morning, and that is the end of Bill Belichick's tenure in New England. We talked about this last offseason. We talked about it during this season. This has been something that a lot of people have been expecting, as the Patriots have definitely taken a tumble since Tom Brady left. Now, the question is Bill Belichick really at fault for a lot of it? And yes, because of his general managing. I will still go to my grave defending Bill Belichick as a head coach. He's still one of the greatest football minds in the league. The problem is he was not a great general manager, and a lot of his roster decisions ended up catching up to him when Tom Brady left. That was a guy taking the pay cuts that was able to make it so easy for him to have a good defense, for him to be able to pay up for some wide receivers. But then without that situation, he was too cheap on a lot of contracts, didn't re-sign players, didn't draft well. And unfortunately, it all comes crashing down here. And now 2024, January, Bill Belichick will no longer be the head coach of the New England Patriots. I've brought out my Patriots Beatles shirt for this episode, as the whole thing, it's just over. This whole era, this whole dynasty, it's obviously been over since Tom Brady left, but it's just looking back at what they all brought. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Robert Kraft, Wes Welker. I mean, you can go on and on and on listing Patriots that meant so much to this organization, but it all started with this man right here, Bill Belichick, BB himself. He is one of the greatest to ever do it, if not the greatest to ever do it, surely landing himself in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. But we're not there yet. Not there yet at all. He still has some left in the tank. At least that's what's to be expected. But before we talk about that, let's take a look back at what Bill Belichick accomplished as the head coach of the New England Patriots. And we'll start. He finished his total head coaching record, including the postseason, 333 wins and 178 losses. Tons of wins. And if you want to look at his regular season wins, he is third all time among head coaches in NFL history with 302 regular season wins. He is behind George Halas, and he is behind Don Shula. But he's only 20-something away from both of these guys. So he's only a couple seasons, even 2-3 seasons, from being the winningest head coach of all time if he decides to stick around. Also, he has the record for the most postseason wins by a head coach. He is also, this one's not as good, but still pretty good, tied the record for most losses by a head coach in their career. And you might say, wow, he's lost a lot of games. That can't be a good record, but you've got to be pretty damn good to lose 178 games and still have your job. So yes, he's lost a lot of games, but that's just going to happen when you've been in the league for 23 seasons, 24 seasons as the Patriots head coach. It has been a long time, and he's racked up some losses, and he ties the record for most losses in the career. That was Week 18's loss to the Jets that happened. Another fun stat regarding this, Adam Schefter reported this morning, tweeted this out. Since the Patriots hired Bill Belichick, the other 31 NFL teams have had 162 different head coaches with 224 different available head coaching stints in his time. That's how remarkable Bill Belichick has been. He's been able to be on the same team. He's the longest tenured head coach in NFL history. And there were 162 other people who had head coaching jobs in between this tenure. That is a remarkable number of head coaches, and just a remarkable stat that Bill Belichick was able to stick around so long as the Patriots head coach. Yes, so many people will argue it was Tom Brady that allowed him to stay for so long, but still, he was a great head coach, did a lot, and especially on the defensive side of the ball. You can look at his Super Bowls. He has 6 Super Bowl victories with the Patriots, 2 as the defensive coordinator on the Giants, so 8 Super Bowl rings in his career. Beating the Rams, a lot of that was defense. Beating the Panthers, a lot of that was defense. Beating the Eagles, a lot of that was defense. Beating the Seahawks, a lot of that was defense. Beating the Falcons, that was mostly some offense. And beating the Rams, that was all defense. The Patriots only scored 1 touchdown in that game. Bill Belichick was probably solely responsible for a lot of those Super Bowl victories in his game plans. And he did that a ton of times in the NFL. Cooked up great game plans, shutting down defenses. You could even go to just a few seasons ago when the Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills, throwing the ball 3 times. 3 times the Patriots threw the ball, and they still were able to beat the Buffalo Bills in 2021. That is one of the best accomplishments in Bill Belichick's career, to be able to do that in a game script like that. It's just remarkable that he can he can do that he has the team to be able to accomplish that kind of game plan, and that he can execute it, that he can get the players to execute those kinds of game plans. And we saw it time and time again, whether it be how heavy he blitzed or not blitzing, or how many safeties he used. Changing, right? I mean, like, he was one of the people responsible for the evolution of the strong safety position, being one that's almost a linebacker. And he was one of the people who started doing that. He was one of the people who brought in the 2 tight end sets. So many things Bill Belichick is responsible for. He's the reason that offensive linemen have to declare themselves eligible. You can go back to that Ravens playoff game where he did that. They scored a touchdown. They didn't, at the time, have to announce themselves eligible, and the Ravens made a whole stink about it and made it a rule. There are plenty other examples of that where Bill Belichick found a loophole and then made it a rule the following season. I mean, the guy is just a genius, and he never quit. And so it sucks to see him go. It really, really does. So we have some stuff coming up, right? What team will Bill Belichick go to, and who's going to replace him? But before we talk about that, I just want to take a look back at some highlights of Bill Belichick's career. Again, guys, I love the guy. I really do. And so I wanted to show you guys some of my favorite moments of his career. None of these are football game stuff, really. There's one of these in here. But, some interviews. As we know, he's been a great interviewer. As we know, he has some funny off-the-field stories as well. So we'll start with this one. Get buckled up, ladies and gentlemen. Get buckled up. Let me switch my banner as well. And here we go. This is one of my favorite moments of Bill Belichick's career. This is when Randy Moss was a part of this organization here. And here we go. Let me share my screen. This is Bill Belichick dressed up like a pirate for Randy Moss's Halloween party at the roller skating rink. Check it out.
Look at this guy. Wow. Man, y'all crazy, man. Hey, y'all crazy, man.
Randy Moss in the SpongeBob outfit is hilarious. Look at Bill. Look at him smiling. Look at him skating. The guy's roller skating in a pirate outfit. He's doing it. He's doing it. So that's my favorite moments. We've got another one here as well. This, of course, is one of everyone's favorites. This is a big one. Here we go.
With Landon Collins in the second round a few years ago, but there you see
is when Bill Belichick allowed
a canine
his
resemblance
dog
for Bill Belichick
to help him make some draft picks. There he is, Nike the Husky, just chilling in front of the laptops in the COVID draft year, where everyone was at home for it. Mr. Nike himself. A great story as well. And who could forget? Who could forget the time the Patriots trolled the New York Jets? One of my favorite moments in his tenure as well. This is just so good. So so good. We'll start it here about a minute into this clip. Let me share my screen as well. So many good moments, guys. So many good moments from Mr. Bill. Here we go. So yeah, Bill Belichick trolling the Jets in that one. For those of you not privy to the situation there, that was one of the loopholes Bill Belichick found. Again, a guy who noticed so many loopholes in the rule book. This was the time he noticed that if you had a delay of game and the team declined it, the clock would still keep running. And then they did the false start thing, the same exact situation to where if the penalty was declined, the clock would still keep running. So he just kept doing penalties after penalties to kill time. They were up 33 points on the New York Jets. And as we know, they also have that whole situation where he was disrespected by the Jets early in his career and moved on from them to go to New England. And so he just doesn't like the Jets, and he totally trolled them. It was awesome. And now also this highlight, one of the best sound effects, the sound bites in NFL history. Here we go. Let me share my screen for this one as well. One of the best. I mean, this is a good one.
To react to the adversity of Monday night, to get back on track so quickly, because from a condition standpoint, this team, this organization hasn't had these sort of issues in the past.
Yeah, but we're on to Cincinnati.
Bill, do you think, you mentioned Tom's age at the draft.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Do you think having a 37-year-old?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your size build?
Well, I mean, I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. That's what we're doing.
So as you get ready for Cincinnati, does Tom Brady have the talent and protection around him to be on to Cincinnati and handle that?
We're going to game plan and do the best we can to be ready to go Sunday night. Same as we always do. Nothing.
So that, of course, was the famous "We're on to Cincinnati" soundbite from Bill Belichick. I don't know what those interviewers were doing. Still just keep asking him the same question over and over as if he was going to change his answer. And I mean, that's the stuff that we saw from Bill time and time again. Not the best of interviewers, but kind of when you think about it, one of the best interviewers, as it's entertaining. I love the dry stuff. So anyway, those are some highlights I have from his career. And now it's time to talk about where Bill Belichick can go. So there are some odds out there. They haven't been updated since he's officially been fired. So the Patriots were still on there, so I removed them. But some of the teams that are in the running for Bill Belichick are the Los Angeles Chargers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Washington Commanders, the Carolina Panthers, and the Tennessee Titans. Before we talk about what that could mean between each team, I do just want to say I am of the opinion that Bill Belichick should just hang up the headset and retire. I find it hard to believe that he will do anything but stain his legacy if he goes somewhere else. He's a culture guy first and foremost, and you're not going to be able to change cultures in teams very quickly. And so I think and assume that if he goes somewhere, he's going to have very high expectations, and he's just not going to be able to meet those expectations quickly, and he's just not going to be able to last long, and then he's just going to end up getting fired again. And that's just going to be an issue. And so when you look at these teams, Chargers, Falcons, Commanders, Panthers, Titans, the only one that catches my eye really as one that I think Bill Belichick could actually succeed there would maybe be the Panthers. And I know that that's interesting to talk about, and I know that that's like the fourth most likely one. But when you look at the Chargers, I think that they are already a team that doesn't necessarily need a culture shift, right? Like, yes, they've had some declines and stuff, but I don't think Bill Belichick is the guy to answer Los Angeles' problem. Plus, I think Bill Belichick would only hinder Justin Herbert. And kind of the same thing with the Falcons here. It's like they just had a rough year and a rough few seasons with Arthur Smith, but they don't necessarily need a huge culture shift either. And also, I think Bill Belichick would just hinder the Falcons' offense. It's a very just fluid kind of new age team, and I just don't think that would do well for him. And then the Commanders, that's just not an attractive job at all. I don't see why Bill Belichick would want to go there. There's absolutely nothing to latch himself onto. And then on the Titans, kind of same thing. It's a team going through a rebuild, and he's old, man. He's not going to have the time to commit to a total rebuild in the Tennessee Titans. And then you look at the Panthers, and yes, they're rebuilding. But they have the former 101 in Bryce Young, a guy that Bill Belichick can surely mentor. Even if he's not one of the greatest quarterback coaches in the world, he's still one of the greatest coaches in the world and has been around great quarterbacks in Tom Brady, and should be able to, at least impart some wisdom onto Bryce Young. And he would help out that defense a lot that's already really stout. And so that's the team that I kind of like and I think would make the most sense. But overall, I think he should just retire. I don't think many teams make sense. And I think the expectations would be too high for Bill Belichick to even last long as the head coach for whatever team he goes to. But the Panthers, even if he doesn't last long there, I do think that even just one season getting into Bryce Young's head, giving him some lessons, I think could help the Panthers going forward without him. And he could help that defense a lot and kind of turn the culture around within a season. I think he could do that. I think that's the one team that I think makes the most sense. I know I've been reading a lot of reports that the Falcons are very interested in Bill Belichick. I think that would be a horrendous move. I think it would be a terrible move. There is nothing there that screams Bill Belichick, except for maybe Jesse Bates. But at that point, it's just like, why are you bringing in Bill Belichick just because a safety might fit his scheme really well? And I guess Bijan Robinson might, maybe Tyler Algier or whatever, and he's used to Cordero Patterson. But then you have to bring in a quarterback for him. You have to make him be a little bit more pass-heavy than he wants to be. And it's just going to be an issue. I don't like that offense. And again, I don't like the Chargers offense for him either. I think he would just hinder Justin Herbert. I don't think he would let him loose like he should be. And so the Panthers is the one team, when I look at the odds, that kind of makes some semblance of sense to me. But again, I think you should just retire. I think you should just hang it up. Don't stain your legacy anymore. And then the next thing to discuss here is who could the Patriots' next head coach be? I saw Anthony at the beginning of the show ask, Vrabel has to go there, right? And I do think that this is one of the likely outcomes. In fact, he is the second most favorited candidate here. The favorite is Gerard Mayo, their current linebackers coach, defensive coordinator, kind of play caller guy. Of course, former linebacker for the Patriots, and has been on the coaching staff with Bill Belichick. So the favorite right now is Gerard Mayo, but Mike Vrabel is not far off. Gerard Mayo has plus 175 odds, and Mike Vrabel has plus 225 odds. I think both of these guys are great fits for the next head coach of the New England Patriots, because what the Patriots are going to try to do is mimic a lot of what Bill Belichick did, but have an actual general manager and try to work out this offense. But Bill Belichick is leaving behind a good defense, and especially a defense that will fit his scheme. And so having two people, Gerard Mayo and Mike Vrabel, who are familiar with what Bill Belichick brought to the table, makes a ton of sense for the Patriots to go after one of those guys. If I had to guess, I'm going to assume it's going to be Gerard Mayo because he's already there and with the team. But Mike Vrabel's a great fit as well. I'm not going to be upset if it's either one. And I think that both would be great fits. I think that there's a world where Gerard Mayo stays as the coordinator maybe and Mike Vrabel is the head coach. I think that's a possibility. And that might be what happens, right? I don't think that's a bad outcome either. Both of those guys could totally remain on the team. I'm sure Mike Vrabel and Gerard Mayo have some sort of relationship together. Off the top of my head, I feel like they were just a couple years apart. They might have overlapped at some point on the Patriots playing together, but I don't think they did. But either way, I'm sure they still kind of know and respect each other. So that could be something that's interesting as well. So those are kind of the two guys lined up to replace the Patriots or replace Bill Belichick as the Patriots head coach. No one else, none of the other candidates had odds better than even plus 1,000. It is going to be one of Gerard Mayo or Mike Vrabel. It's not going to be anyone else. It's not going to be Steve Belichick. It's going to be Mayo or Vrabel. And both would be fantastic fits. And then that's it. I mean, that's really all to discuss here, but I did just, again, Bill Belichick, to me personally, really does mean a lot. He's one of my favorite head coaches. Again, I've grown up as a Patriots fan, didn't become a Falcons fan until I moved to Atlanta and just adopted them as being, a fan of the city and just wanting to have some stake in the team. But the Patriots hold a very special place in my heart growing up, and especially Bill Belichick. Lots and lots of great memories to look back on, and I'm really going to miss him. I really will. It's going to be hard to not see him on that Patriots sideline anymore. I wish him the best. And I did just want to apologize as well. I'm sorry for yelling at you for not calling a timeout against the Seattle Seahawks when Malcolm Butler got that interception. I was yelling. I was screaming at my TV, asking him, pleading, please just call the timeout so we can get the ball back and try to score. But, he knows what he's doing. One of the greatest to ever do it. Hall of Fame coach. I'm tearing up kind of thinking about him leaving. Look at this, guys. The guy means a lot to me. And so I'm going to miss him. Peace out, Bill Belichick. Peace out, Wake and Take. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.